Thanks for joining me again for another Pixie Talks review vlog. This week I'll be delving into an indie animated film that I've had my eye on for a while now. This project excited me from the first announcement. An adaptation of one of the greatest pieces of classic literature of all time, animated and with steampunk themes? Sign me up! Plus, my geek sensors were very tickled by the inclusion of music covered from Jeff Wayne. So let's dive into the War of the Worlds, Goliath. I don't know quite what to say here. This movie is not at all what I was hoping for or expecting. It's pretty rare that I have to give a mostly entirely negative review, but, well, buckle in. But before I start ripping this little film apart, here's some background information. This adaptation actually functions more as a sequel to the classic title by H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds. It takes place 15 years later and follows the military at the return of the Martians. In a beautiful nod to my favorite adaptation of this story, it features as a theme a cover of one of the songs from Jeff Wayne's musical adaptation of the War of the Worlds, and heck yes! Not enough people know about this concept album. We begin the movie with a young boy and his experience losing his parents to the first Martian attack, and then cut to him all grown up and whoa, wait a second. Did you just change race? Why are you white?
Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white.
Okay. Anyways, the Martians are returning, Eric is now military, and they fight them. Yeah, that's about it. There is no real backbone to this story. It bills itself as a straight-up action flick, and that's all it delivers. Problem is, these action sequences aren't very fun to watch, and I grew bored with watching them pretty quickly. The second half of the film is a bit more visually entertaining, but unfortunately you have to sit through the first half to get to it. But even then, it's pretty hard to get actually invested into any of these action scenes or death scenes because of the film's #1 biggest problem: zero characterization. These characters aren't given any personality, any identity or background, and zero development. I just couldn't bring myself to care about what happened to any of them because they were all strangers to me. The audience never gets to know any of them in any meaningful kind of way, and it takes all of the excitement out of watching them fight aliens. Oh, there are a few cursory attempts at giving them backstories, but it's crude and poorly held together. Even the conversations don't really flow well and wind up sounding oddly awkward and forced. Couple that with action scenes that are exceptionally boring to watch and half the time full of inconsistencies and plot holes, and this film becomes a bit of a forced viewing experience. Well, okay, I've ragged on the writing and poor character structure enough, but let's move on to the artwork and the animation. How does that hold up? This is an animated film, after all. Well, here's the problem with that. I like the art style, I really do. It's got a kind of Superman aesthetic to it that can be charming. It's a little rough around the edges for sure, but it's got potential, and I'd like to see more from Joe Pearson. The biggest issue is the blending of CGI and traditional animation that comes off too jarring in a lot of scenes. The switches are far from seamless and are irritating when one moment you're watching video game graphics and the next they switch to fully drawn characters. All in all, it's really hard to recommend this movie. If you thought the 2005 movie wasn't very good, I think I would rather watch Tom Cruise running a lot than this thrown together excuse for a military action film. And it's not that this movie doesn't have any cool moments, it totally does. But it is so hard to stay engaged long enough to pick them out that it's probably not worth the effort. That is my review of War of the Worlds Goliath. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to subscribe for more, and you can also add me on Facebook and Twitter. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye!
The summer sun is fading as the year grows old.